Tomorrow, our church celebrates the feast day of Saint Tychon of Cyprus. The following are some details of his life and works. Tychon was born the son of a baker in the 4th century. Tychon, from childhood, helped his father in a bakery that was forever besieged by the poor, who were unable to afford a crumb, much to the ever-increasing distress of the youthful baker, who looked upon the hungry with a genuine compassion. He looked helplessly on as his good father extended credit to the point of his own bankruptcy, and together father and son worked diligently, but their decreasing returns for lack of cash resulted in a steadily diminishing supply of flour. One evening Tychon could bear no more, and in a burst of pity gave away every loaf of bread that had been baked during the day, after which he prayed for forgiveness for having taken undue advantage of his father, who was now left with no way of replenishing his supply of flour. Knowing that the miller would refuse his delivery of flour because the baker's credit was overextended, Tychon went to his father to confess what he did. The old man gave a shrug of his shoulders to indicate his resignation, and both retired after kneeling in prayer for deliverance from the blight of poverty. The next morning they both went to the shop out of sheer habit, not knowing quite what they might do next. When to their amazement they found the bins bursting with a fresh supply of flour, the father looked to the son for an answer, but Tychon had none, but only to kneel in prayer for what could only be a miracle. When they had regained their composure, they both lent themselves to the task of making bread, all of which was given away. Returning the next morning, they found the bins full again, and once more they baked bread enough to feed all the poor. Enough cash was received to pay the miller, who joined the others in looking upon these bottomless supply bins that replenished themselves nightly as a true expression of the power of the Lord. It soon came down to the question of who was the instrument by whom this miracle had come, and when the charity of Tychon had been made public, he was acclaimed as a man in God's favor. After a brief investigation by the hierarchy, Tychon was ordained as a deacon of the church and rose to the bishop of Amathos. The miracle of the unending bread supply was several years behind the good bishop, and once again it was revealed that the grace of God was within him. The vineyard in the episcopal residence was in a sad state of neglect, when Tychon retrieved some vine fragments that pruning hooks had prepared only for a compost heap, and with his own hands he planted them with the sorry-looking vines that were already there. A gardener offered to give the bishop a much better grade of vine, which he would tend himself, but the offer was politely declined, with a remark that a little rain and prayer would go a long way. Not only did the vines of the cleric bring forth most luscious of grapes, but they reached their full ripeness a full month before any of the other of the grapevines on the entire island. To this very day the vines of Tychon continue to bring forth their sweet grapes a month ahead of all others.